Everybody, welcome back to the Literacy Teachers YouTube channel, where we're all about helping you inspire, motivate, and change how your students read and write for academic success. Now, I am super excited to get into today's video with you. We're going to be talking about why struggling readers don't like to read in school. And you might be thinking that you already know this, but I got some things here that might surprise you. So what I'm going to be doing is giving you 3 of the most common problems that I hear straight from the students themselves, and then a potential solution to each one of these. Now, recently, last week, I shared with you 3 things that I've learned about what makes struggling readers excited to read outside of school. So if you haven't watched that, please click on the link that's getting ready to pop up and take a look at that. Now, we're going to talk this week about why struggling readers don't like to read in school and what you can do to sort of start turning that around. So here's the thing. It is a very fair statement that, a lot of your students are not going to like to read. A lot of your struggling readers are going to complain about reading in school. We're going to dig in a little deeper to that, and let's get started with our first thing that they really don't like, which is getting assigned leveled text. Now, the thing to remember, particularly about students ages 10 and up, is that are categorized as struggling readers, is that since they started first grade, they are used to being put into special groups. They're used to being told, what they can and cannot read. They're used to being denied access to books that they would love to read, right? But they're told, oh, they're too hard, you're not ready for it, okay? Now, they may very well, right, when we deny struggling readers a piece of text and say it's too hard, it's not right for you, you might actually be correct, okay? That's not the point here. All right. The point is, it's this lack of access and students being told what they can and cannot do and can and cannot read that's frustrating them, and that's just wearing them down over time to the point that they're like, you know what? Never mind. I quit. I give up. Right. You're never going to let me read the stuff that I want to read. And, as they keep going through the grades, their frustration grows. And by the time they reach middle school, they're just tired of this. They're tired of this and they have shut down. So what is a solution to this problem? First, recognize that your struggling readers are tired with being given what they see as baby texts, and they are tired of being denied access to the text that they believe everyone else gets to read and that they think everyone else can read, all right? Whether or not that's accurate, that's not the point. The point is understanding their beliefs, okay? So have an honest conversation with them about what they want to read in your class and why. All right, that's a nice inroad, helps build a relationship with them. Then help them identify some tangible goals for approaching these more challenging texts. So, for example, agree that if they're going to read a text that you think is too difficult, that they're going to ask for help as needed. They're going to, the next day when there's a small group or whole class discussion, they're going to offer an idea or they're going to ask a question. Right? They're going to participate in some way. So find ways for them to begin to participate so that they can engage with the text that they want, right? That they are going to be more likely to try to tackle these hard texts and show you that they're committed to stepping up and doing some of that work. All right, now, number 2, too many bad experiences with reading in school. So here's the problem. Once struggling readers reach adolescence, actually probably by 4th grade, to be honest with you, they have acquired a host of negative experiences around reading in school. And what this does is they provide a data set for them that suggests to them they are unable to be successful with reading the text you assign. It's not that they don't want to be successful. They do. However, they've gotten enough evidence over the years that in their mind shows them that being successful is an impossible task. And so why are they going to keep wasting their time and trying to do something that they have all this evidence that they can't do? Okay, that is their perspective, all right? You don't have to agree with it, right? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we have to understand this is their perspective. So how do we get at this? Here's a solution. You got to break the cycle of negative experiences with positive ones. Now, this solution takes time. It can take 3, 4, 5, 6 months, okay? but it's really worth doing. And it requires finding ways for your struggling readers to have positive experiences with reading in school, not just being successful with comprehending text, but being seen by their peers as someone who is knowledgeable about what they read, as someone who has a contribution to make to the class, okay? Now, one way to do this is to have a discussion with them or have them fill out a quick questionnaire where you ask them what they would like to read about in your class, and you ask them to identify how they would like to improve or change their reading abilities, okay? How would you like to grow as a reader? How would you like to improve as a reader, right? Just one or two things. And as they accomplish these things, right, then you can change them and get progressively more difficult and challenging. So once they've identified these 1 to 2 things, work with them directly to build a plan that allows them to accomplish those goals. And as students start to have these positive experiences with reading in school, they're going to be more likely to tackle what you assign, to participate in discussions, do their homework, all the things that you want to see, and their reading abilities, their growth is going to go up, which is exactly what we want here. All right, and then the third thing is getting too much instruction. I know you're probably thinking, how can you get too much instruction, right? So struggling readers often complain about getting too much instruction and not enough time to read. So it's not that they don't need skill and strategy instruction. They do. And actually, all students all the way through 12th grade continue to need this kind of reading instruction because the things that we're asking them to read are getting more and more complex, okay? So what happens, though, with struggling readers is that often their instruction gets reduced down to, okay, I'm going to teach you some skills, I'm going to teach you some strategies, and you're going to do these worksheets. And very little time is provided for them to actually read, and they are sick of it, okay? So what's the solution to this? So first of all, yeah, you still want to be providing instruction. And yes, it's okay to have your students do an assignment that demonstrates how well they can apply the skill or strategy that you taught them. But make time for them to read. So I recommend setting aside time where your students can read anything they want. And it doesn't have to be a total free-for-all. It could be. Doesn't have to be. But let's say that you teach biology. You can set aside time for your students to read a book that is grounded in your discipline. Anything you want, as long as it's biology related, right? Now, you might be saying, I don't have the resources to build a library like that in my classroom, right? So an effective way to do this, right? Well, there's a couple ways to do this. One is make that, part of the classroom expectations. Go out and find a book that you really want to read about whatever subject matter you teach, right? You can have students do that. But if you want to build a classroom library, an effective way to do this is to ask students and parents to build it for you. And one way to think about that is at the end of every 9 weeks, ask your students to donate, if they can, one book about your subject matter that they have found inspiring and that they believe everyone should read. And this is going to accomplish 2 things. It's going to build up your classroom library of books, obviously, but then it's going to inspire your students, including your struggling readers, to read about your subject matter outside of class so they can make a donation, recommendation, right, that's going to inspire others, okay? And then honestly, a third thing here, just to add on for a second, is it can really expose your students, right, to a wide range of ideas that they might not have considered otherwise. All right, so if you're, watching this and you're thinking this sounds great, but I need more support, I want to let you know Literacy Teachers has over 70 courses in our catalog that support comprehension instruction, supports how to develop free reading practices in your classroom, and middle and high school teachers who have taken our courses have improved their knowledge by an average of 48%. So we offer an all-access pass for $99.99 a year, and you can take classes when and how you please. Everything is asynchronous. It's done entirely on your schedule. We've got a coupon for 20% off down in the show notes, so check it out.